username and your password, which you can use to sign into the platform, or you can equally sign in with your Microsoft account or your Google account. So I'm just going to sign in, and you will see that I land on a dashboard. Okay, and as the weeks have progressed, we have a bit more traction now on our dashboards, because things are actually happening. People are coming in and actually using the platform for their collaboration on the project. And I just like to take a moment to clarify that, and it came up last week, and I think it's important. What we're showing you is a platform to help us improve how we collaborate, but not necessarily to add a layer of project management. So no one needs to think that we're intensifying the project management layer. Rather, we're giving everyone access to the one environment where we can all share information and documents and access every aspect of the project. Okay, so I won't stay on the dashboard for now. What I'll do is I'll go straight in and show you where the project is housed, because this is really the important thing about the platform. You need to know how to quickly get to the project. So it's in here, in under work. And just to say, you see things like expenses, purchases. We will blind the aspects of the platform that aren't going to be used, that for this use case of a European project aren't needed, but this is something that we'll get to. So for the moment, you'll just need to focus on the things that I show you today, and I'll try and keep it as simple and as agile as possible. So we're just going to click on work, and when you click on work, you see the project. And because we house companies that might manage a whole portfolio of projects off the platform, this list would make sense in a normal place of our project. Here we just see one line, because it's just one project we're managing. So all this type of information up here, we'll also blind it for the future. But for the moment, go in here, you see IS2H4C, go to the end, click on the three dots, and you see you've access to the project Gantt, the project board, and the project financials. Project financials we're not using, you can forget about it. I would equally say the project board isn't interesting for the moment. Here's what you want, the project Gantt. So click on your project Gantt, and I'll show you another way to get to that in a moment. So we've a number of ways where you can get to the project from the platform, and this is one of them. So you come into the project Gantt, and here is absolutely a replica of the Gantt chart from the description of action. So all the work packages and all their tasks and all their subtasks are available here. Their start and end dates will be visible from the Gantt chart itself. So you might prefer to look at it in month view, because this is a long project, but you will be able to see when things start, when things end. Any stars you see on the Gantt are either deliverables or milestones. So anytime you see a star on a Gantt, you'll know that, okay, this either relates to a deliverable or a milestone. And if you click on it, you'll be able to see who's leading it and who are the people involved. And you'll be included in any deliverables and milestones that are relevant for you. And what will happen is they will send alerts to our emails. Maybe I think we've programmed them for a month before anything is due. We'll all get an alert for the things that are relevant to what we're working on. But anyway, this Gantt is your window into the entire project. So I'm going to focus on work package 7 because it's the work package that we're involved in. But any of the work packages are useful to show you the platform. But because we're from work package 7, I'm going to use this. And I was in a work package 7 meeting yesterday that was run by Poojan, who's the leader, and he used the platform to navigate the meeting. So when you go down to your work package, you click on, so if you want to go into a specific task, just click on it. And then the great thing about that then is it takes you into the implementation environment. And when you go into the task that's of interest to you, you'll be able to see the description of that task. And this is the text from the DOA. I think it's very handy to always have that close at hand, so we always stay on course for what we said we were going to do in the description of action. And then we can see who the team members are. Sorry for the up and down. We can see who the team members are that we're working with. And we can see in this case, Poojan is the owner. And Poojan has put up his photo. I'll show you in a moment where you can upload your photos. And I think it's nice that as we kind of mature in the use of the platform, we'll see each other's photos. And I think it just gives it a bit more of a human touch. So I would encourage you all to go and upload your photo inside your profile, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But anyway, Poojan yesterday in his meeting, he used the comments section to keep notes about what we were discussing and what we were agreeing. So this is equally useful for that type of behavior whereby you want to keep a note of everything, or if we want to communicate amongst ourselves. So I might say, look, I might say I want to reach out to Poojan, and I'm going to, so you can leave a mention for someone, so you can communicate over and back. So we don't need to kind of go into email. We can use this environment here for comments and communication. We can create a checklist of things that we want to get done in the the task. So we can break down what's involved in the task into a more manageable checklist that we can work our way down through over time. And then we have the flags feature. And yesterday, Poojan was raising a few flags. So as we spoke about the different aspects of the task, Poojan just noted one or two things that might be a problem in some of the tasks, and he just raised them as a flag. So it's very easy to raise a flag, and then you see you've got your high, your medium, and your low. You give the risk or the problem or anomaly or anything we're worried about or that we want to keep raised as a flag until it disappears. We give it a name, the date, the description, and how we suggest to mitigate it. And once we click here, raise a flag, it will appear as a flag. I won't do it now because this is kind of a live environment, so I won't clutter up any of Poojan's task here. Just to say, any flag that's raised in a task is visible for the project managers and the work package leaders out in the Gantt, and vice versa. The work package leader might say, I'm worried about a certain task, or the project coordinators might say, look, we consider a risk in this task. They can raise that risk out in the Gantt, and we'll pick it up here. So it's just a nice, easy way for us to kind of raise issues and keep control over this long, complex project. And then we have the ability here to upload files. So we encourage the work package leaders and the task leaders to try and forget about, I know it's difficult, try and forget about Teams and SharePoint, and we're going to put all the documents up into Workdeck. And the nice thing about that is we've our documents here with context. So we've our documents in the task where we can see what the task is about. We can see all our colleagues, and we can upload the files here as a kind of working space. Any file we upload here is also available in a central repository. So you don't need to be formally a member of this task to be able to access the files that we upload here. So Marin and Devrim and the work package leaders will have access to these files out in a central repository, and I'll show you that in a moment. Just to say, and this is something that I think is good about this environment, we're catering equally for whether you're a Google user or a Microsoft user. So if you want to upload files from your computer, you can do so. And you can upload multiple files at a time. This was something that was raised by the work package, one of the work package leaders to us in the first session we had. We could only upload files one by one, and we quickly addressed that. So if you want to upload 5 or 6 files from your computer at a go, you can do that now. And by that, I would also like to encourage you, any suggestion that you'd like, some feature functionality or optimization that you'd like to see, we'll take that on board. We'll put it in our roadmap, if it makes sense. We'll put it in our roadmap, and we'll try and get to it as soon as we can. So just to say, you can upload from your Google Drive or from your OneDrive. So if you're a Google user, you can upload files from Google, and OneDrive the same. Just to say, anything that comes from Google Drive or OneDrive is housed out in Google Drive or OneDrive, and they're collaborative documents. So really, we're getting a window into those documents from here, and they can be modified and changed in real time, and they are out in either Google Drive or OneDrive. Okay, and anything we upload from our computers is a static document. I have to download it, to modify it, and upload it again. Okay. So anyway, that's the task environment.
There's a question from Wolfgang about how to handle version control of documents. And just to say that if you upload files via OneDrive or Office 365, the version control is handled in those platforms.
Yeah. And then there is no version control on anything you upload from your computer. So we might upload from the computer, to my mind, final version. So we might have submitted the deliverable, or we might have a final version of a document, and we want a public record of that document housed on here. And any of the working documents, as Colm said, if they're being managed by Microsoft or by Google Drive, then they behave just like they would, because here we're only creating a window from Workdeck into them. But the good thing is they'll all be accessible via the task. Does that answer the question? Are we good?
Yes, thank you.
Super. Okay, so so now any of you that comes into Workdeck and you want to get to any of the tasks, it's as easy as that. Just go down through here and click on the one you're interested in, and there you are, you're in there. I would say if you go into a task as well and you expect to see yourself on the list and you're not on it, just let us know and we'll add you in an instant. It's very quick to add you. And even the task leader could add you as well. Or you might even be able to add yourself. But that's something I don't. But try and add yourself. If you can't, come to us and we'll add you in. Okay. Right. I'm just going to close this here. Anything now, and maybe this might be enough for the moment of how we're actually going to use the Gantt. Anything else would really be for the project management layer or the coordination layer of the project. But what is interesting is the project repository. And this is something that we've optimized in the last couple of weeks, because before we just had a long list, and it was suggested to us to create a folder structure, and we've done that now. So when you come into the repository, you only see work package 1, work package 4, 7, and 8. And that means that in the other work packages, no files have been uploaded just yet. So it's working that way. Once a file gets uploaded, its work package and task will appear here in this central repository, and you can just mine down and find the documents that are of interest to you. So say, for example, I'm involved in work package 7, then I'm interested in all the files that are in work package 7. And I can see, for example, in the virtual collaboration tools, there's 4 files uploaded. I can see who uploaded them and when, okay? And if you might go, look, I don't really know where the files are at the moment. But I'm interested in anything that might be related to data. So you just search for data, and anything that relates to data would be you'll find it here. So you have a searchable repository. Okay. Beside the Gantt, so at the project level, I won't go into it because actually I'll stay away from it because it's more for Maren and those. And I went a bit too deep the last day. So I'm learning from my mistakes. So I'm just going to keep it at the high level, just the things that you need to know. So now we know how to find the project, and we know how to navigate into the tasks from the Gantt. Another area that's really interesting for you is your My Task area. So when you click on My Tasks, you no longer see the whole world of the project. You just see the tasks that are relevant to you. So when you come in here, and if you're a first-time user, so the first time you ever come in, all the tasks that you've been added to will be piled up here in the assigned column, or they'll be queued up here in the assigned column. And the default board, so then you have your own little individual Kanban board that you can use to keep track of the tasks that you're involved in. And this might be your window. Maybe you're not interested in the Gantt. This could be equally the window that you always come to when you're working in Workdeck. You might say, I'm only interested in my tasks. So in you come, and if you click on any of the tasks, so I just click on, say, this one, task 1.1, which is one I'm involved in, you can see again the world that I showed you a moment ago. So anytime you click on a task in your task board, you go into the task implementation zone. And equally, you can do it as I showed you through the Gantt. You click on the task in the Gantt and it takes you to here. So we've seen this and we don't need to see it again. But so then you have the Gantt and my tasks. And you can forget about Resource Planner, Manager View and Client Board, and we will blind them because you're never going to use them. And now, where else are you going to use in Workdeck? Or you might use is time. So we all have our own calendar in Workdeck. Just to say that if you wanted to synchronize the calendar in Workdeck with your Google Calendar or your Microsoft Calendar, you can do so. And I'll show you in a moment how to do that. But your calendar could be useful if you say, okay, have I anything coming up this week? It might be a meeting or event, anything coming up that's linked to this project, you'll just see it in the calendar. And a nice little feature is that if you so now we all have this meeting in Google Meet. If you don't need to go out into Google, you can click on the event here in your Workdeck calendar and you'll see Google Meet. Equally, if it was Teams, if Zoom, if it was WebEx, or if it was Skype, those are the 5 that we're integrated with. So any meetings that we have in those environments, we can get them, we can access them directly from here. I think the feature I'm about to show you now is useful if you might be a task leader, you might be a work package leader, and you might want to say, look, I want to convoke here. So I want to create a meeting. It might want to be a planning meeting, and you might want to recur it. I'll just quickly show you how you can do that. But equally, you could, if you synchronize with your calendar with Microsoft or with Google, you could do this out in Microsoft or in Google, and it'll synchronize in here. Okay, so whichever is more comfortable for you. But just to show you that you can create an event here from Workdeck. The nice thing here is you can actually link, if you're doing it from Workdeck, you can link the event to the specific task or work package that the meeting is about. So we'll just say, I might say, look, I'm going to organize a meeting for subtask 5.2, and I'm going to invite I'll invite Clara and anyone else that pops up here, I say, okay? And so if you wanted to recur that meeting, so say we wanted to have a weekly meeting, you could recur it. You could say, I want this every week. And you just say which days do you want it on. So might want it every Tuesday. And then you indicate when does it end. So it ends on, so we might push it right out to the end of the project. And then we have this recurring meeting in our calendars. And if we create it from Workdeck and we've synced our calendar with Microsoft or Google, it will be available in our standard day-to-day calendar, our working calendar. Okay, I won't do it because, but anyway, if I do it, then you'll see it in your calendar here, and you'll equally see it in your Microsoft or Google calendar. Okay. Oh, just to say that if I am, so say I am looking for a space, so I might say, look, I want to organize a meeting, and I might be trying to convoke 20 people, just to say that you could get a recommended time. So I'll just add in one other person here. So you might say, look, I want to see when all these people are free. So you have that as well. So you could just say, look, I have 20 people here. I'm trying to find a free slot for all of us. You can ask the recommended time tool, and it will show you the slots that are free. Okay, and if you're using the calendar, so if you want to use the calendar, you kind of want to plan your time from the calendar. So say, look, every time I'm going to work on this project, I'm going to come into Workdeck and I'm going to plan out my time in here. And you can do that, or you don't have to do that. Whatever, there's no obligation here to use the calendar. I'm just showing it to you because it might be useful for you. And if you are using it, then all the columns that you have in your task board are repeated here. So I might say, look, I'm going to work on this task. So I'm going to work on task 1.1 on Friday. I'm going to work from 12 until 5. You can just drag and drop the tasks into your calendar, and that's a way of planning. And if you've it synchronized with your Microsoft calendar, that plan will synchronize up with your day-to-day working calendar. And just to say, then you'll be able to keep tabs on a weekly, on a monthly basis as to how much time you're spending in the project. And that will be helpful for you for getting the data you need to populate your timesheets. And if any of you are interested in running your timesheets from the platform, reach out to us. I think it's something that if you're that heavily digitized and you'd like to do it this way, reach out to us. But I won't show it to all of you now, because I don't want to overwhelm you at all with too many digital things. But if you feel that you might want to do that via Workdeck, just let us know and we can set that up for you. Okay, so there's your calendar, and just to say that your calendar is synchronized with your task board, and it can be synchronized with your Google Calendar and your Microsoft Calendar, and it can be useful for managing your time and your events in the project. And now that I'm just saying this, I realize that I need to go back into my tasks, because I was a bit too lean, in the sense that I forgot to show you how to configure your task board. When you go in, the default columns are assigned, to do, doing, and done. And for many of you, that might be perfect. You might go, I don't want any more columns than that, and I'll just navigate my tasks. Once they become active, I'll put them in doing, and when they're done, I'll put them in done. And anything that's lined up to start, I'll put it into to do. Or you might say, no, I'd like to create columns. In fact, I'd like to create columns per work. I might want to put all the work packages here and house the tasks in under the columns that correspond to their work packages. So if you wanted to do that, I'll just show you an example here. It's very simple to do. So you go up here, you've got these icons. You might say, I want to add a column here. So I'm just going to call this work package 7. Work package 7, and I might say I want to give it the dark blue color, accept, and there's my column created. And you can move the columns around any way you want, and if you think, no, I actually don't want that column, you could just delete it. So if you wanted to tidy up your board, you can just delete columns. Just make sure that you take the tasks out of them before you delete them. And look, if you imagine we're coming up towards the end of your participation in a task, you might be involved in a task for 6-7 months, and you say, okay, I'm finally done. You can just say, okay, I'm done. And the beauty of that then is the task leader will know you're done, because they'll see a check over your photo in the task list, in the task participant list. They'll see a green check over your photo, say, okay, Una's done, Una's finished. And if you say, actually, that was a mistake, I shouldn't have done any, so you can move things around. So you can take something out of done, you can put it back wherever you want. So it's super easy and fluid to navigate across your task board. Just to say as well, you might be a list person. You might prefer to see your work, your tasks that you're involved in lists. And I kind of like the list because you can filter them. And you also see as well, look, how many files have been uploaded in that task, how many are these comments, how many items are in there in a checklist, and if there's any risks. So it's another useful view. And I would say then that we're possibly done. I think me having shown you that now, having shown you the Gantt, having shown you, so we've seen the Gantt, and just to say, so let's go from the dashboard again. If you've 2 ways of getting into the Gantt. One is, as I first showed you, via work, and then clicking along here, and that'll take you to the Gantt. Another way is very simple. In fact, it's possibly easier. There you have it right there. You just see Gantt, and there you just click on the project. And there you are, into your Gantt. And if you're interested really in just streamlining your view and only seeing your tasks, then you go into your task board. And sorry, cancel. And I'll stick it on the board view. Okay. And then we saw the calendar. Okay. And the final thing I'll show you now is your dashboard. And the dashboard is designed just to be a helpful notification center, if you will. Okay. So when you start to use the platform, you will get a bit of traction here in the widgets. The 2 interesting widgets, and we might get rid of other widgets that aren't useful, because Workdeck is coming from, let's say, a digital workplace use case. and it has more widgets than possibly we'll need for managing this European project. So we'll start to clean it out. But what we'll certainly keep is FYI, because here now you can see, look, Pujan, he raised an orange flag. So you'll see things that are relevant for the tasks that you're involved in. Someone might have deleted event. You can delete anything. You say, look, I don't want to see these anymore, or you can clear them all. And imagine Pujan had left a message for me in a task. Another little entry would come down here, and I would see the message, and I could click on it and go to the zone and start to converse with Pujan. And then here you see pending. And in pending, it's anything that requires you to do an action. And I think typically these will be things like accepting or accepting an event. Someone might add you into an event. You can click on it, and it will take you to the event, and you can accept or deny your participation, etc. Another thing that I think is relatively useful, is the milestones. So especially as well, I think for the project managers, the work package leaders, or if you own a deliverable or a milestone, or are involved in one. So possibly for all of us in a sense. So we might say, okay, what's coming up in the next 3 months? What milestones are coming up? And there we have them. We can see which ones are coming up. So we can see the data management plan for June 30th, the technology map. So I think it is handy so that we can just say, okay, are we on track? Am I aware of everything that's coming up? And I like the fact that you can do it for the next month, the next 3 months. You might just say, okay, I'm gonna, God forbid, check, have we anything overdue, etc. All right, and then project portfolio is irrelevant because we've only one project in the portfolio, so you can completely forget about that. So let's just focus on FYI, pending, and milestones. My task status, well, we only have one project. I don't think it's, so as I say, we clean out anything that's just noise and clutter. So anyway, just to recap, FYI, pending, and milestones, keep an eye on those ones and you can forget about the others. This one I like. It's our, let's say, agile mode of communicating if we want to use it as such in the project. So we don't have to go emailing people. We can actually come in here. I might say, look, I want to talk to Pooja, and I can click on Poojan here and I can send him a note. And Poojan will get an alert. He will get an FYI. He'll also get it to email that I have communicated with him via the platform, and he can come in and answer me. So you can find anyone by simply searching, because we're a big enough group. So I think the search feature is useful. And what we're going to do, because it came up in the work package leaders session, is because look, we don't know which, because we're a big group and we're a new group. I don't know which organization Beatriz Royo is from. So we're going to add in the organization beneath the name. And you'll also then be able to search by organization. And this should be handy for us, I think, in any thematic or topic that we would like to create a communication thread around. So classic examples would be work package. So Poojan has set one up for work package 7, and he's invited all the team from work package 7, and any kind of easy, fluid, rapid communication that you want to have or broadcasting to the group can be done via here. I would equally say if we wanted to have a knowledge thematic, so imagine we wanted to set up a group, and I think because we're a multidisciplinary team, and when we talk about the management of the relationships between disciplines, having maybe thematic discussions around certain disciplines, whereby it doesn't matter what work package you're involved in, if you're interested in signing up to a communication thread around a discipline, we could set them up here. And then you could sign up to the ones that are of interest to you, and we can share files, we can discuss, etc. So those are just small potential use cases around the communication feature that we have here. And then that would be it. To my then you have a day view of your calendar. So here, so instead of going out to calendar, you might just say, look, have I anything coming up on Thursday, anything coming up on Friday? So you can just navigate across the day view of your calendar from here. One thing that I would like people to do, and I think it's an easy thing to do, and it gets you up and running. I think when you go into a new digital tool, to feel that you can do something easily in the first go, can be helpful for you to build your confidence in the use of the tool. So I would encourage you to go in here, in under your profile, in under your photo, sorry, in your name, click on my profile and upload your photo. And if you want to synchronize your calendar with Google or with Microsoft, and the platform will know whether you're Google or Microsoft. It knows in my case that I'm Google. So I have created that synchronization. It's very easy to do. Just enable it here. The blue button will appear. It'll take you through the steps. And just remember to save it. So when you upload your photo and you synchronize with your calendar, those are two simple actions that you can do. And it gives you, I think, a physical identity on the platform. I think it's helpful as well. Some of us remember faces and we're terrible for names, so it can be helpful. And it's nice to maybe have your calendar synchronized. And that would be it from my side. I don't know if you have any questions. And I hope you can start to use the platform and find it useful. And it really is simple. So once you go in and you start to, I think in a couple of hours, you would be very, very comfortable with the platform. And then I think it's just to have the go-to behavior to check in on the platform. When you're in IS2H4C mode, do check in on the platform. And we have a nice space where we know we're all available and we're all in the one space and all our documents are in the one space. And the DOA has been transposed into here, and that for me is useful and valuable. So any questions? Yeah. Okay. No, no, because in the end we added everybody into the project so that they could have visibility on all the deliverables and milestones. But what will happen for the ones that you're just involved in, you will get a notification about those ones. You won't get a notification about the milestones that you're not specifically involved in, but you will have visibility on them. Okay. And here's a widget here beside so I'm in the Gantt again. So let me go into the Gantt again. Appa, it's going slow for some reason. Right. No, I wasn't in the Gantt. Sorry, in the project portfolio. Sorry, excuse me. So when I click on projects, you see milestones there. That's another place where you can just go in and say, I want to see a full list of the milestones. And would it be useful, just a question now to Noah, would you rather, Noah, only see the milestones that you're involved in? Or does it matter? And if you're answering me, you're on mute. Am I still on? I am. No, but a differentiation would be nice. Sorry, no, I'm sorry, I couldn't see the screen. Okay, grand. Right, we'll take note. Yeah. Nice suggestion. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I did not share my Outlook calendar, but still, when opening Workdeck in my browser, I see some of my dates on Workdeck, but not all of them of today's appointments in Outlook. So that's a bit weird.
So you didn't synchronize?
I do not synchronize. It's not locked. It's not locked. It's not. I do not synchronize, but I see some of my dates in Workdeck from Outlook, but not all. So.
Yeah. So would
they be? Would it be possible that there's those dates that you're seeing are shared by somebody else? That's why you're seeing them in Workdeck. Because if you haven't synced your calendar, it's not possible that they come via you. But maybe they've come via somebody else into Workdeck,
IS6 Josephine, maybe that could have the same dates, but okay, so I see, okay, okay, that's then understandable.
Okay, okay, super. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, can I ask one more?
Yes, you can, of course, Wolfgang.
That's the reason for telling you the second time today. How can I add subtasks in under the tasks?
Okay, it's a great question. Wolfgang, are you a work package leader?
Yes,
You are. Which work package?
2.
All right, let's go into 2 then. And it's a bit of a complicated answer, but we got it last week as well. Just to say, Wolfgang, that we're going to add in an optimization in Workdeck, right? But for the moment, let me show you. So
Okay.
we're going to add in an optimization whereby you can house a subtask under a task, because at the moment you can't do it, right? So at the moment we've got the activity layer, which is the work package, and under that, tasks. Forgive the slowness, it happens sometimes when I'm on a Google Meet. Okay, so let's go into work package 2. Right, so what we did here to kind of compensate for the moment, Wolfgang, is we created this activity, this extra activity. So it's called work package 2, general leadership activities and files. So if you want to create a subtask, you can house it in under that. All right, and I'll show you how to do that very quickly. And then when we open up the features and functionality whereby we can easily add in a subtask to a task, you'll be able to move them from under here to in under where they're relevant, okay? But let me just show you how easy it is to do at the moment. So say you wanted to create a subtask. So I'll go out into my task board to show you that you can do it from there. It's going slow. Right. Okay. So let's just create a task from anywhere. See this plus sign here? It says add task. So let's just say you want to have subtask 2.2.2, and we're going to call it testing. And it's related to work package 2, right? And I'm going to add you in, Wolfgang. And I'm going to add in, so anyone you want to add in, you can select them from here. And you can say even from when you want it to start and when you want it to end. So let's just put that it ends on the 30th of April, 2026, yeah? And I save it, right? And then that's that task created. This should go really quick when I'm off of Google, right? So when I'm off the Google Meet.
Mhm.
I apologize a moment. We just have to have a wee bit of patience. But let's imagine that this was happening within seconds, okay? Right, it's done. So I'm going to close it. And now I'm going to show you that that's been included in the project structure. Okay. Just bear with me. I'm tempted to press refresh. Okay. So there you have it. You see it?
Yes.
Okay. So you know how to do it now. And then when we fix what we need to do, it'll take a number of weeks, because it's quite a structural change in our platform. We'll then be able to move this up and put it right under task 2.2, okay? But for the moment, it'll operate exactly the way you need it to, just sitting there under that general leadership activities one. And what we did for every work package is we created that, let's say, placeholder to be able to add in subtasks. Okay.
Okay.
Is that clear? Perfect.
Yes. Perfect.
And another thing we're going to be doing, because it was suggested to us, so it's relevant for you as well, Wolfgang, as a work package leader. right now, the activity, so the work package layer is really serving just as a placeholder, and we just hang the tasks in under it. But what we're going to do is create that you'd be able to click on this as well, and then you'd have a space for your work package management. So you might have documents that are relevant to all the work package, not just to a specific task. And you might want to communicate about things that are kind of work package level type things. And that's something else we'll be adding in. And what would happen then is when you'd see work package 2 here, you'd click on it from here, and it would open a window whereby you've got the ability to upload files, to leave a description, to add people in, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that will come in. I don't want to overpromise, but we'll try and get to it as soon as we can. But again, these are quite structural changes for us in Workdeck, so they will take a bit longer than some of the other optimizations that we've done over the last 2 weeks. And then any suggestions or recommendations that you have, just send them in and we'll try and add in as many things as possible. Okay. Any more questions or comments? No? And just to say, we don't want to introduce a platform to you that is, another platform with a login that I have to go into. Because this project is 4 years long, I think it's worthwhile that we just spend a few hours of getting used to it and kind of make a bit of habit of using it as our go-to when we're in IS2H4C mode, that we do it via the platform, because the benefits we'll get over the 4 years, I think it really come into value once we all start interacting off the platform, and we then have everything in the one place. And even from the notes that we can keep in our tasks, these can kind of become almost like a continuous reporting type feature. And we can come into our task then when we have to do a report and say, okay, here's the kind of things that we were talking about throughout the day, and here's the things that we did, here's the checklist that we completed, etc. Here are all the files. And you might say to yourself, but sure, we've got that in Teams. You do to some extent, but what we've got here is we've got a navigatable Gantt, and we've got a more kind of ability to have information from our project contract, if you will, beside the space where we're collaborating and sharing files, etc. And it's a European provider, so a European startup. And I think that's nice too, that there is that element that we're a European startup. We're trying to equip a software to make it fit for purpose and agile for project management. And this opportunity through this project is invaluable for us. So I think thank you so much for your collaboration and for the opportunity that this project is going to bring for us as a startup. Okay, so that's all from my side. Unless there's any comments or any issues, we can wrap it up. Okay, Beatriz.
No,
Yes.
sorry. I pressed the hand button. I don't want to ask anything.
Okay,
Thank
super. All right. So look, if that's it, we can finish up, and we're 15 minutes ahead of schedule. And just to say, we have another session next Friday. Anyone? Thanks, folks. There's another session next Friday. If anyone feels they want a refresher, then next Friday is also a possibility. I don't know whether we had the skill set on our own, Jose, without Paulina, to be able to do the video. And if we did, fantastic. And if we didn't, we have one from last week. All right. Okay. Thanks a lot, and we'll stay in touch.
Hold on, one more question from Noah.
Yes. More noise, Noah. We got to get rid of the colors on the Gantt. This would be very useful information if we were all using the project for time management, for timesheets, because it's telling you you've gone into an overspend in hours. It's irrelevant for the use case we have here, and it's noise, and we're going to get rid of it. But it's a great question. So at the moment, if you see red dashes, you can ignore them.
Unless somebody wants to use the Gantt for that.
Completely.
The striped red lines just mean you've said you're going to spend 200 hours on this task, and once it turned red, you're going over the 200 hours. Or if you've planned to work on it from January to June, and you start working on it before that or after it, it'll appear in blue striped. So it'll let you know where you're deviating from the contractual norms. So if that's something that you're interested in tracking, it's quite easy to do in the platform.
Yeah. And we know from last week, we said we'd keep it super simple because we didn't want anyone to fear we were bringing a management layer onto them. But if anyone's got the appetite for it, you're more than welcome to contact us. Okay. So thank you. Thanks a million, everybody.